going to do a video here. I've been thinking about this for a while, and on food storage in a disaster scenario. It could be for any type of disaster, whatever. There's a literally dozens of disaster scenarios that can happen. Even people prepare for things that are more extreme. I think about all of them, actually, except for a zombie apocalypse. Come on, now, people, really, zombies in real life are going to shoot back, things like that. So, so there's no such thing. Anyway, getting off track there, but all kinds of disasters can happen. I mean, there is all kinds of scenarios and situations that can happen anywhere. I live in Oklahoma, so we have tornadoes, earthquakes, we have ice storms, severe just thunderstorms, straight line winds. People can be down with, in wintertime, ice storms. I've seen people, on the news, they talk about it. People are without power for days and weeks at a time. More extreme scenarios that can happen, is a shit hits the fan scenario. There could be a grid down situation for anything. Terrorism, EMP, whatever. I mean, there's literally a dozen scenarios. The thing is, though, is I stress to people all the time when we get on this subject that you get, especially if they have a family, a wife, kids, even just yourself, you need to prepare for something. Whether it be any of those scenarios, whatever, it doesn't matter, just prepare for something. Now, you can judge for your individual needs and things like that. There's literally a dozen videos or 1,000 videos on just this subject alone, and I'm not going to go into details about any of that stuff because, it's really pointless. You just prepare for what best. Now, people prepare for different things, though, but they also prepare for different amounts of time. So there could be just, days, could be weeks and months, with some type of situation, civil, unrest, where you can't get to a Walmart or a store, wherever you shop at, because it's gone crazy, and, Hurricane Katrina is a prime example of that, of all the stuff that can happen. So I tell people all the time, you need to prepare for something, no matter what it is, for your family, and prepare for a length of time. Me personally, I prepare for months. I'm not loaded with money like on some of these, videos and people who are buying Atlas missile silos and underground shelters that cost, $150,000 or more, stocking them with 10 years worth of food. I'd love to have that personally. It'd be great. May not ever need it, but just to know you have it would be cool. It'd be awesome. But I just don't have that kind of money. I'm broke. I'm like everybody else. I'm broke. I don't get paid for doing this. I'm not getting paid for nothing. I'm just doing this because I enjoy doing it, and hopefully maybe get somebody else to thinking about it. But I've thought about this, and I have been doing this for a long time, off and on. I could be doing better. I'd like to do much better. I personally, try to do the best I can with what I can. And I'm not even showing near what I have, but, and I have more than this, but this is what I do, though. This is some of the things I think about. Is I think about storage for months down the road. So I need something that's going to last a long time, and things. You have when you store stuff, you have your basic your canned foods and stuff that will last a year or so. And you can rotate them out, you can eat them, do whatever you want, donate them before they expire. Anything like that helps. But just keep rotating your stock, And there's all kinds of ways of doing that. People build special shelves, and it comes down, and you're the oldest first, and things like that. But I think about months down the road. After all that stuff's gone, I've got food that can last for years. And I go with the dehydrated and freeze-dried foods a lot. And so you can get these right here. I picked these up at the local Walmart. These were 40 bucks. 6-day food pails, 6-day food supply. And it's a National Geographic one, I don't see that. But it's got soups in it. It's got oatmeal and banana chips, and there's 6 days worth of food. I've got several children, and wife and family members and things like that, and some of my family members are doing some of the same things. But after all that stuff's gone, this stuff right here, the thing about it, what's great about it though, is that it expires best by July 11th, 2036. So that's quite a ways long, quite a ways longer down the road. And it's lightweight, you can take with you. That's a week's worth of food. You might even be able to stretch that to 8 or 9 days, depending on, I've never even opened one of these, because they say if you open these, your stuff goes bad quicker. So even that, because they're individually packed in here, there's a video online of these when they open them up and cook it up and stuff. But that's some of the things I do. I have several of these, and they're stackable, they're lightweight, easy to grab and go. Some of the other things that I do is MREs. I like MREs, but you gotta store them right. This stuff doesn't matter what the temperature is. If it's 110 degrees or if it's 40 degrees below zero, it'll still store. It's freeze dried. This stuff, depending on how you store it and the temperatures and things like this, it can last for years or it can last a month. It just depends. But MREs are a good source of storing. They last a long time if you store them right, and they're actually pretty good. A lot of people don't like MREs, but I personally do. I always have. Thought they were always pretty good, so I'm always liking to try new ones when they come out and things like that. And something else I do that's a little shorter term though is I get these soups right here, and these are like $3 or something at Walmart. They last quite a while, but if you put them in, if you put them in a storage container, and we'll get to that in a minute, but they will last a long time. And they make, it says up 8 1-cup servings, but you get one of these, and you can feed your family for the night. Even if you have a bigger family, you put 2 of these in there. And we've made these, and literally it made a gallon of soup. So even on the ingredients, it tells you, you can add some meat to it and things like that, because it doesn't have any meat in it or anything like that, and do something. But we've ate it just plain, just like this, and it's got flavoring and stuff in it already. So just basically a vegetable beef without the beef. So it's good, and they're actually good. And one of the things I like doing too is I'll pick these up, these canned hams. This one's good till 2021. So these are good to, a lot of us store beans and things like that. I do too. I store bags of beans. You want a little ham in your beans? There you go. And this will go a long ways. And this stuff's actually good. I actually like this stuff. It's not like Spam. Spam will work too, but this has a good date on it. So it's got a lot of stuff in it to keep it, preservatives and things like that to keep it lasting a long time. But it's in this metal can too, so. One of the other things I like to tell people though is these Mountain House meals. These things are great. They last a long time. They're freeze dried. So it says best by September 2046. That's quite a ways down the road, So just as long as they don't, get a hole in them anywhere or anything. But if you store them in something, which is what I like to do, is I got these 5-gallon buckets right here, and I'll literally, just store them in there, pack them in there right, do all that stuff. Even with these, pack them in there. You fill them up, being freeze dried, they're lightweight. You can grab and go, and you can have, a week, 2 weeks worth of food, bam, right in this bucket. So, the trick about these buckets though, excuse me, is that you can get these at Walmart and other big box stores and hardware stores and things like that. I got these for free. I went to I can't even think of the name of the sandwich shop. It's a sandwich shop, but not Subway, not anything like that. But you never know though. Call around to fast food restaurants. A lot of fast food restaurants have these, and this was a pickle bucket. What it was a pickle bucket, and they just threw them away. And they go through a lot of pickles on their sandwiches. I could go in their dumpster, which I did, not ashamed to admit it, but I was able to pull out these buckets. You can wash them right up. You know, it didn't have anything on them that, you know, there wasn't any like crap on it or anything. But I actually knew the manager too, and it doesn't matter if you know him or not, but I had him start saving me buckets. I literally have dozens of these buckets. So many of them for a while, it was taking me a long time to fill them up, but I took a break off getting them, but I can always go get them for free. And they have this nice rubber gasket around the lid that will tighten it down and keep everything in there fresh. You can throw some oxygen absorbers in there and it'll last for a while. And it's a quick and easy bucket you can grab if you need to hurry and go, if you have to get out. You know, bugging out's a whole different deal. But one thing that all this stuff takes generally, except for the MREs and the canned ham and stuff though by itself, is water. Water storage is essential in all of this stuff. I mean, almost more important really than food, because you can't live without water. You can use this to clean you, to drink, to mix your stuff down. And this is a good thing about the canned goods. A lot of canned goods like beans and things like that, you can eat right out of the can. This stuff takes water, but it also lasts infinitely longer than a canned product. But this, you know, water and water storage, that's why I get these right here. This is a 7 gallons. You can get these at your big box stores too. I got this at Walmart. It's a 7-gallon bucket, and it's, as you can see, it's BPA free, all that stuff that concerns you. It's even got a spigot in the cap that you can take off, turn it around. It's got a spigot, you can lay it down and fill up whatever you need. But that's what I stress to people. I stress this all the time when we talk about it. Store some food and water. And you know, your individual needs, you have to judge that for yourself. Me personally, I like to have at least 3 months worth of food. I don't have that much water, but I'm working on that slowly. And it depends on the situation. You might not have to worry about water storage, but it just, you know, like I said, it just depends, but you should have it anyway. But I have several of these. I buy several of these, and I, you know, some of those, even those water, whatever the water dispensers you see like in offices and stuff like that, with the, you know, with the big huge 5-gallon, you know, or 10-gallon. I have some of those too. So you can drink, and it's just stored back. Just put them back in a closet, and they're just sitting in there. And so that's always good to have. It's not that expensive to buy that stuff. And plus, one of the good things about having this, or even some of these, or even those big water cooler dispenser things, the bottles, when you're done, you can always use that stuff again. You know, these things too, you can use them to fill them up with something else. You can use them with water, things like that. If you get another water source, you can grab it, you know, and use that and have that ready to go. But I stress this to people all the time. Whatever kind of situation there is, whatever scenario that's in your mind that you think can happen, prepare for it. You know, I always stress people, prepare for it. And one other thing, we won't get into it because it's a whole nother subject on a video, is defending your preps. Defending it, because depending on the situation, if it's a bad enough grid down situation, even your nicest neighbors might even just turn on you just to feed their kids or something like that, because people will be desperate. And you can't blame them for that. You know, you can't blame them for it. If you have enough to share, then share it. But you know, when I think of prepping, I think of my family. And I always do try to do a little extra. And if I can spare some for something, I will. It's good to trade. You can trade it. Another thing is that there's a whole nother video too. I'm getting sidetracked. But it is alcohol, liquor, booze. If you have that kind of stuff, that's like liquid gold. I mean, people will, I mean, not beer, because beer won't last, but booze, like even cheap bottles of liquor. Go to the liquor store, get you, 10 or 15 bottles of booze and set it in the closet. It will never go old, but you'll have it. If you're hungry, but you have a bottle of liquor, I guarantee you can trade it for a week's worth of food, probably. Something like that will happen, because somebody's going to want booze, guarantee it. And if you're a smart person and you know how to do it, you can build a still, and if you got the stuff to do it, because you can make liquor, moonshine, almost out of anything. So, anyway, but like I said earlier, that's a whole nother video also, is defending your preps. Because if it's a bad enough situation and people are desperate enough, they will kill you for what you have. So you have to be prepared to defend yourself and your family from taking what, if they take it, even if they don't kill you, and they take what they have and say they're armed and you're not, and they take what you have, they just basically condemn you to death. They might as well have shot you right there. Would probably be better than starving to death. Be quicker and less painful, I guess. They just end it quickly. But that's the thing, though. You need to defend your preps however you see fit. That's, like I said, that's a whole nother video. But I stress this to people all the time. Do this. Get something together. Prepare for however long you think, because there's all kinds of situations that can happen. We think of a lot of times of grid down situations, shit hits the fan, and things like that. Those are very real scenarios and can happen, have happened before. But the most reality that happens quite often, especially in our area and other parts of the country, storms, ice storms, snowstorms, where you're snowed in, you're iced in, your power is even out, things like that. This stuff, you can always find a way to make a fire if you have to in your backyard. I mean, you can put the grill on there to boil up some water, get some wood off a fallen tree, whatever. Your fireplace, your wood stove, things like that. You can still cook. But that's just one of the things I wanted to touch on. I really do stress this to my friends when we talk about this stuff. Have something, because, they ain't coming here, because I'm going to be, if I have to, I'm going to be gone. But the thing is that I just don't have enough for everybody. They need to provide for themselves. And that's what I express to my friends. Get something, because you may have to be able to bug in. You may have to bug in your home and not be able to leave. It depends on the situation. It could be a pandemic. It could be maybe you're iced or snowed in. You need to have days worth of food, if not longer. A lot of people have, a week or two worth of just food in their house, stuff that they haven't even eaten, that they wouldn't even, that they just don't eat. But for a longer period of time, 3 months at least, is my very bare minimum of preps for things like that. 3 months. But this is some of the things I think about, and I stress that to anybody, because another thing is that I have a friend, Facebook, or he's one of my YouTube buddies, Plant-Based Outdoors. They are vegans. If that is your lifestyle and that's something that you will need to prepare for, I'm going to put a link to his channel. He did a video on this the other day, and I'd been thinking about it, and I was like, man, great minds think alike, because he was thinking about the same thing, and I want to put his, because his preps are going to be different than this kind of stuff. I mean, he'll have the water and things like that, but he won't be thinking about canned hams and things like that. He'll be thinking about vegan stuff. So if that's your lifestyle and something that you think about, and because you can, and there is all kinds of stuff online that you can buy to do this stuff, even at local stores. And there are organic and vegan preps that you can buy online if you have the money to do it, even if it's just a little bit. I don't care what you do. Prepare a little bit. Buy a can of soup here. Buy a can of ham here. Do something. And after a while, you'll have quite a bit of stuff. You know, that's how I do it, you know, because I'm broke. But that's what I stress to people. You must do this, you know, just for your own preparation and comfort, peace of mind, you know, for you and your family. So it's just something that you don't have to worry about as much. Do what you can afford, do what you can. Anything is better than nothing. And be able to prepare to defend it as well. And that's a whole nother topic, and I'm not going to get into that because that's, you know, but that's something to think about. Anyway, before this video gets too long, gets too crazy, if you have any questions, anything like that, let me know. Thanks for watching. Keep it heavy.